Thank you, Dan. Hey, everybody. We'll give it a couple minutes and see if anybody else joins. Just gonna pull up the agenda for everybody. Hey, Dan, how do I get the agenda to show on the Zoom call? Ah, Gotcha. Okay, great. Tom, can you confirm that you can see that?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great. All right, so it is 2:02 and I'm gonna call the meeting to order. So for roll call, Brittany here. Oh, Jennifer?
Here.
Julie is excused. Elizabeth? Tracy?
Here.
Pat?
Here.
Mark? Tom?
Here.
Bruce?
Here.
Anthony?
Hi, I'm sorry, I just came on. Were you talking to me?
Just doing a roll call, just to make sure everybody's here.
I'm here.
Great. Okay. So the first item is to approve the agenda presented.
This is Jen. I so move.
I'll second it.
Second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Motion carried. Okay, any public comments today? We have nobody in the room with us for public comments. Nobody online. Any public comments? Okay, moving on to approval of minutes from the July 18th, 2023 meeting.
This is Jen. I'll make that motion.
Perfect. We got a motion by Jen to approve. Second by Tracy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. So moving on to the discussion items. The 2025 to 2027 Ashland County Land Information Plan that was sent out in email a couple times and then presented on the packet. So I'll just kind of quickly go over an overview of the changes. Really, the format did not change this year, which was really nice. The state did have a few things here and there to add, just a couple sentences and whatnot. But for the most part, everything stayed the same. I added some new information about what we did in the last 3 years. Changed, who the members were, updated that. Updated the public land survey monuments page, added the new numbers of recorded corners that we have. There was a section that I need to get with Jennifer on. And so today, the only thing that I would ask is that we approve it with the knowledge that we have to add a value in on page 10. And then going along, I added some information about the new LiDAR, the new imagery, and some of the new stuff we've done for the next gen 911 layers, like law, fire, EMS boundaries, PSAP boundaries, those kinds of things. I updated the links for Landshark and the parcel web map. And then the most important section of this plan is the third section where it talks about the future projects. And so I updated those. And I think we've had a couple emails requesting any new projects. At any time, any member of the Land Information Council can ask me to add a project to this plan. So feel free to reach out if you have ideas. The plans are pretty straightforward for the next 3 years, continuing with what the state wants us to do with the remonumentation project. I did go ahead and update that corner value to $500 per corner with the guidance of our county surveyor, Pat. Thanks for that information. And then just another WROC integration, continuing integration of our remonumented corners into our parcel fabric. The creation of the free public surveyor documents map. I know Pat has been really looking forward to that. So I'm hoping that within the next year or two, we can get moving on that. Additional plat book in the next 3 years. Continuation of the back indexing register of deeds clerk. That's part-time staff we have. And then a physical machine upgrade for the GIS server. And just continuing to work on our public web maps. And so those are the projects that we currently have listed. And then that wraps up the plan. So any questions on it?
I don't have a question, but just a quick edit.
Yeah.
Under the public access and website information
Mhm.
for real property lister links, the assessordata.org is not a website that we maintain.
Okay.
It is through the assessor's software vendor.
Correct. But that is our only access to assessor data. Is that correct?
No.
We
I
have-
get the assessor data directly from the assessors.
Okay. And is that available to the public or do they have to come in to view that? Are they
It-
allowed to view that?
It's available to the public through me, through our website, once I get the data from the assessors.
Okay, I'll revisit that section
Okay.
and then circle back and talk to you about what's the best plan
Okay.
to go with that.
Brittany, I have a question too.
Yep.
I had mentioned getting the tax rolls scanned and the receipts, but I never got a quote to you.
Yeah.
So can I still do that?
Yeah, definitely. If you end up getting the quote, I'll do an amendment to the plan and
Okay. Well, it doesn't have to be like right now, but I was just wondering if it was even something that would be covered through this.
yeah, I talked to the state and they did say that would be
Okay.
an approved budget item.
Okay.
So,
I will try and get that done.
yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
It's Tony. Sorry, I don't know how to raise my hand here.
That's okay.
So you're talking about the assessor data. I know what we do. We have a list of assessors for the county and we just email them and ask for the assessor data for particular properties and they send it to us. I don't know if that's just because we're realtors or if anybody can do that.
No, anyone can do that. The assessment data is public record. And if you want more than like what the county shows on our website, which is just the land and improvement values, like if you want that broken out by types of building, age, that kind of thing, the assessors have to give you or have to make that information public.
Yeah, I believe, Jen, you have that listed on the website as well, right? All of the assessors and their
Yeah, the
contact.
assessor contact information. Yep.
Great. Okay, are there any more questions on the plan? Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve with the added value on page. Let's just say motion to approve with any updates. Does that seem okay? Is everybody in agreement
Yeah.
with that? I'll make the motion.
Okay, I'll second. This
Okay.
is Jen.
Motion seconded by Jen. All in favor?
I,
Any opposition? Okay, motion carried. So the next item is Ashland County Land Information Grants. So the grants this year were pretty straightforward. The training application was $1,000, which is its normal amount. The strategic initiative is up to $20,000 this year. I'm going to go for the full thing. And at this point, I have it all for remonumentation. We have 2 years to spend it. And so I don't think Pat would have a problem completing those remonuments for us in the time period. And then the base budget grant is 76,000. And this grant primarily still funds the GIS coordinator wages and benefits. However, I did take about 7,000, I think, to cover the back indexing clerk for the Register of Deeds office. And so this will be the first year that I'm asking the county to fund the GIS coordinator position to some degree. And I'm very excited about that because it kind of frees up a little bit of my time because if it's not a grant project, I'm not supposed to be working on it. So if I can get about 25% of county dollar, then I have more flexibility in what I'm allowed to do through the year. So I'm very excited to kind of have that wiggle room. Yeah, and that wraps up the grants. So I did learn that you guys don't technically need to approve these grants because the projects are already listed in the uh, plan. However, I figured if we're meeting today, I might as well just go over the grant with you and see if anybody had any questions on it. Okay, hearing none, I don't need approval on that. So I'll go to the next item, which is the GIS coordinator, land information officer verbal report. So for 2024, we started the year off with a corruption on our GIS server, which really set us back. We moved it from the courthouse to the sheriff's department, and in doing so, IT changed an IT thing. What was it? The IP address to the machine, and then that broke the whole GIS system. So we got that rebuilt in-house, repaired, and running back in, I think, March or April. And then within, I think, 2 or 3 months, it was down again. And so that time we weren't exactly sure what happened on why it corrupted again. But at that point, I quickly transitioned the web map over to the cloud version of our Esri software. And so technically our web map right now is not hosted internally, it's hosted on Esri software or servers. But that seems to be going really well. And so now it's just kind of a making sure that we're updating our data and not keeping static data on the web map. And so now that another big project of 2024 with the PSAP consolidation with Bayfield County, that completed this week. And so it was successful, and Ashland dispatchers are now over there in Washburn. And we're working out the kinks on everything. And so now that that project is wrapped up, I can circle back and work with Jen on how we can get these tax parcels updated, hopefully nightly on the web map. So that's a big goal for 2025. As a part of the next gen 911 stuff, we also went live with we moved from enhanced 911 to next gen 911. And so that happened the same day of physical consolidation, and that went pretty good. We have a little bit of tweaks left that the cell phone providers are working out. But besides that, it went well. And so those two kind of sheriff's department projects were really big for the GIS department in 2024. And I think moving into 2025, I'm still going to have a little bit of that. We're doing a new CAD system and a new CAD map to go along with that. We're moving to Flex with Motorola. Another update for the GIS department was we did close out the 2023 and 2024 Next Gen 911 grants. And so a lot of work wrapped up this year for those. And we got the payout, so they're completely closed, which is great. And then we did receive the 2025 grant. So that begins next month. And we have contracted work with Datamark again to continue any Next Gen 911 services that we need with the GIS data, and then also MSAG corrections. And I think we're going to have a lot of that this year. So those were kind of like the big three or four things that we did besides our normal like assigning addresses, assisting with GIS data requests. Not too many map requests this year, but a lot of data requests. And just kind of our day-to-day updating data as it comes in, updating the Remon stuff and stuff like that. So yeah. Any questions on that report? Awesome. Great. Hearing none, I'm going to move to the revenue and expense report. Okay, so let me zoom in. So this is essentially everything we've expended on this main sheet here. And then if you scroll to the right, this is where the funding kind of tracks. So we have the existing non-lapsing fund and then all of the different grants that I'm managing. So we did go over budget this year. However, I think it was a lack of properly planning the grants. So I put the 2023 911 grant in 2023's budget, but really most of it got expended in 2024. So we had that large expense overture. So we went over 140,000, but it's there in grant funds. So it does balance out. And we have the non-lapsing fund. So I did not fully expend all of the land information dollars. It's just a matter of flowing in, flowing out with the grants and everything. So the 2025 911 grant is a lot less. I believe it's only 30,000 or something like that. So we won't have that large overture again. Um, but any questions on the expenses? Okay. I don't really need this approved either. It's just to keep you guys all informed on how the land information budget's going. Okay, and then moving on to other business. I actually have two items to talk about in this, but does anybody else have any other business? Okay, I will move into mine. So the first other business I have directly for you, Tom.
Okay.
So I did a snowmobile trails map for Avenza back in 2020, and
Okay.
I'd like to do a new one. Is Bruce still the rec officer?
He is not. We currently do not have a rec officer at this time.
Okay.
Um, just trying to think. I know there was a bunch of reroutes done. We had some bridge inspections done and ended up losing a few bridges just because they were so outdated. So we're waiting to get them replaced and for funding for those. So I know they got rerouted a little bit, but I'm not exactly sure where the reroutes are. I will contact John Westfall. He is the Alliance president, and he should be able to let me know where those changes are, or I could have him stop up by you and kind of tell you where the changes are.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I have John's contact information. If not, I will reach out to you, Tom.
Okay. Yeah, he would be the one because I know most of the reroutes were done between Glidden and Mellon.
Okay. Yeah, and just to note, when I was thinking about the snowmobile trail data, um, I received it from the third party that the state was using, and it was older than what I have on the 2020 maps.
Okay.
So it might be a nice conversation for you to have with John and whoever, just to say that third party might need to re-GPS all the trails for you
Get
guys.
everything. Yeah. Every year it seems to be with new landowners, it's kind of a challenge. We're
Yeah.
constantly getting kicked off of properties and trying to find new routes, and every year seems to be a challenge the last few to try and maintain a single piece of trail on the same property. It's been kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yep. I know we had to reroute a piece down to Butternut. I can email you a copy of the map that I made for the new reroute. That way you can change that, at least that portion down here. It's a
Yeah,
pretty simple, it's only about a quarter-mile difference.
yeah, that'd be great if you can send me any updates.
Okay.
Do you guys GPS trails at all or
I haven't GPS this new piece just because I just got it done last weekend.
okay. Gotcha. Yeah, if you do get out there and do any GPSing, I definitely would appreciate that data being sent in an email.
Sure. Yep, definitely.
Cool. And then my other business item was for Pat. Are you still with us, Pat?
Yep.
Awesome. So I'm really hoping to get to that free tie sheets this year.
Yeah.
Do you have any objections with me seeing if I can use the remonumentation funds to help pull in a tech company to help us set up a system where the Register of Deeds still process the tie sheets, but then it goes to a free public available space?
Hmm.
I kind of thought of that within the last couple days, and so I'm not
Yeah.
sure if that strategic initiative grant can even fund that, but it was just an idea I had. Um, maybe taking like 5 to 10,000.
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure, how that works. I don't, what do the other counties do with their, their tie sheets are all free, and how are they covering that expense? Is that part of, their regular job duties, or?
Yeah, for this, I'm really just looking for like a one-time setup so that we can get the all the web security stuff set up and get the server set up, and then just maintenance would be non-existent with that, with those funds. It would just be a one-time like data setup.
Sure, sure. No, that, I mean, that seems reasonable then. I kind of feel like that's part of, the whole remon procedure, so.
Yeah, I know when the companies moved from WG Extreme to Beacon this
Mhm.
last year, Beacon had charged everybody an extra fee to get that set up for them. So I think it's kind of a bit of standard to have some assistance with getting the system set up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I have a
Yeah,
quick,
for sure.
I have a quick question. Is
Yep.
that something that LandLink or Landshark or Tryman, that's who it is, with the Register of Deeds could host that data and then just make that available for free instead of like a paid document like they are currently?
Yeah, I've had that discussion with Julie, and 2 years ago, Tryman, they told me they could not share some of the data for free.
Okay.
It's all at a flat rate.
Gotcha.
We are updating the server, I think this year
Mhm.
with Tryman, and so I can definitely re-ask that question.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. And the other thing I was thinking of is like, is it possible for us to have an index document that we create in Excel or access here and then just host the images on our website that the surveyors can just grab from?
Yeah, exactly. And so I think the broader scope of this is getting it approved, the project approved through IT
Mhm.
first, and then having that conversation with Rachel and Tryman and seeing what kind of is the best um, way to go about this.
Gotcha.
Because I know we do have a Tryman server, and I
Mhm.
don't know if we can utilize some of that storage space. They're already there.
Right.
Can we
Yeah.
just pull from that, or do we have to make a second storage space, which would
Gotcha.
not be very good, but
Yeah.
we'll see what Tryman says.
Okay. Yeah, just throwing out ideas just in case,
Yeah.
so we don't have to necessarily hire someone else outside to set it up. But yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, we'll see. I think the biggest piece of the pie there is kind of involving IT and
Mhm.
seeing what they think we can
Sure.
do.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. And Pat, while I still have you, um, would it be helpful if I add the remonumentation layer to the parcel viewer for the time being? Like the PLS layer that we maintain in-house?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Anything you can do to show the fellow surveyors, where these corners are, what we may have tie sheets on, or whatever even, is going to save a lot of grief and a lot of travel time on their end, having to come to Ashland County, to the courthouse to look for records. So.
Great. One question I have on that, so we have the corners that have GPS,
Mhm.
and then we have corners that do not have GPS.
Yep.
Would you advise showing both of those with maybe some kind of different symbol or something?
You know what Brittany, what they do in other counties, and what I felt works fine is, I don't know how to do this on your end, but you just, normally there's an icon where you can just click on at whatever section corner, click on it, and you can just scroll through there, because there may be 4 or 5 different tie sheets completed through the years for the same corner, you know? So that's all history that's relevant to the surveyor. So regardless of if there's coordinates on it or not, it's all very pertinent. So as much as you can put on there, the better.
Great, that's great to hear. Right now the GIS layer has, if it has coordinates or not, and then it also has how many tie sheets are recorded with us. So it sounds like you would want to show that information. And right now I have it listed as document numbers. So it's like recorded document number 1, recorded document number 2, that kind of thing.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, no, that sounds great. The more the better.
Great. Awesome.
Related to that too, Brittany, in the parcel fabric, we had when the parcel fabric was first set up, CloudPoint imported a bunch of corner points from Dave's records. So I kind of have this weird like those corner points and then I have your corner points. So I don't know if there's overlap with some of those or if we should consolidate those and also post them.
Yeah, the Dave, what was Dave's last name?
Carlson.
Carlson. Yes, his points, they don't have good documentation behind them.
Yeah.
And so it's really difficult for me to want to publicize that because if somebody comes back and says, where, how do I see the documentation behind this? Then I feel like it might lead to a lot of
Sure.
digging on our end because I think he was using like DOT plats and he was using anything he could get his hands on, right?
Right. Yeah. So I guess for that, I would say there were several corners I had manually put into that layer with data. So we should probably pull those out and use those and then can get rid of his and then consolidate mine and yours together so that it's one
Yeah, definitely.
data set.
I
or
will
file.
dig into what you have added.
Okay.
I know that back in, oh my goodness, was it 2018, 2019, somewhere in there, I took all the recorded tie sheets from the Register of Deeds office and put them into the new layer. And then that's what I've been updating every year.
Oh, okay. So that does have like everything that's ever been recorded.
That has everything
Gotcha.
that's been
Okay.
recorded. Yep.
Then we can just, sounds good.
Yeah, it would be worth like at least checking it to see. But yeah, the problem with Dave's layer is that it just doesn't have like a document number or
Yep.
a reference.
No, and that's totally
point.
fine. I didn't know
Yeah.
that your data set had all the old ones too. So that's only why I brought it up.
Yeah,
So,
awesome. Yeah. Great. Yeah, as far as what to do with the parcel fabric, I guess that's kind of maybe a conversation we should have offline on if you want to keep those or scrap them. So,
yeah.
You know, in regards to Dave's corners, it's kind of a point of contention because he spent a lot of time and years putting coordinates on his tie sheets, right? And I'd say 80% of them are wrong.
Yeah.
And I know what he did, but we can't, you can't go back now, obviously. But even if they're wrong, it's very important to still publish that information so that we can go back and kind of retrace how this corner got here, why, et cetera, right or wrong. We can say, well, this is one of Dave's corners from 13, and I've had conversations with surveyors who work in this area, and I've just kind of let them know, it's incumbent on you to check everything, and maybe take his information with a grain of salt, if you will, but yeah, we still definitely want to show up everything we can with what he did, as it just gives us a chain of kind of what happened. So
yeah, Pat, everything that has been recorded and shared with the county is in this GIS layer. So
great.
All right, did anybody think of any other business items? All right, hearing none, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting at 2:35. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks, you too.
Nice seeing y'all.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye, Pat.
See you, buddy.